From revered dramatic actor to the unexpected architect of the modern Jerry action thriller, the career of Liam Neeson is a study in remarkable transformation. With a commanding physical presence and a voice that conveys both gravitas and vulnerability, he has crafted a filmography as varied as it is enduring. This is the complete chronological journey through every feature film of Liam Neeson. Pilgrim's Progress, 1978. This was Neeson's feature film debut in which he played the dual roles of evangelist and the crucified Christ. Nailed, 1981. A minor role in this Irish drama filmed during a period when Neeson was primarily focused on stage acting at the renowned Lyric Players Theatre in Belfast. Excalibur, 1981. Playing Sir Gawain, Neeson first met his future partner actress Helen Mirren during the filming of this Arthurian epic. Director John Boorman cast many stage actors, including Neeson, to bring a classical weight to the fantasy story. Krull, 1983. In this sci-fi fantasy, Neeson played the role of Keegan, a polyamorous bandit. It was his first foray into a large-budget American studio production. The Bounty, 1984. Neeson played the treacherous mutineer Charles Churchill, alongside a cast that included Mel Gibson, Anthony Hopkins, and Daniel Day-Lewis. He was originally cast in a larger role, but was demoted after a conflict with the producer. The Innocent, 1985. A drama in which Neeson worked with esteemed British actor Tom Bell, continuing his run of supporting character roles in the mid-1980s. Lamb, 1985. This was Neeson's first leading role in a feature film, playing a Christian brother who runs away with an epileptic boy. To prepare, he drew on his own strict Catholic upbringing in Northern Ireland. Duet for One, 1986. Neeson played a supporting role as an escort in this drama starring Julie Andrews, which was based on the life of cellist Jacqueline Dupre. The Mission, 1986. In this Palme d'Or-winning historical drama, Neeson played a Jesuit priest named Fielding. He acted opposite Robert De Niro and Jeremy Irons, gaining invaluable experience on a large-scale, critically acclaimed international production. A Prayer for the Dying, 1987. Neeson played a former IRA member alongside Mickey Rourke and Bob Hoskins. He was very critical of the final film, stating that the studio had re-edited it into a political thriller he hadn't signed on for. Suspect, 1987. In his first major American studio role, Neeson played a homeless, deaf-mute Vietnam veteran accused of murder. To prepare, he spent several days living on the streets of Washington, D.C. and visited a D.C. shelter for the homeless. Satisfaction, 1988. Neeson played a small part as a record producer in this coming-of-age musical film, a notable departure into more mainstream teen-oriented fare. The Dead Pool, 1988. He played Peter Swan, a controversial horror film director and a prime suspect in the final film of the Dirty Harry series. Neeson secured the role after director Buddy Van Horn saw his performance in Suspect. The Good Mother, 1988. Neeson starred opposite Diane Keaton, playing a passionate artist whose relationship with a single mother leads to a devastating custody battle. The role required him to perform several nude scenes, a rarity in his career. High Spirits, 1988. A supernatural comedy where Neeson played a ghost. He broke his own rule of never working with children or animals for this film, which was a critical and commercial failure. Next of Kin, 1989. Playing a country-bred moonshiner opposite Patrick Swayze and Adam Baldwin, Neeson adopted a thick Appalachian accent for this crime thriller. Darkman, 1990. This was Neeson's first lead role in a major Hollywood action film. Director Sam Raimi cast him because he saw a Gary Cooper quality in Neeson and believed he could effectively portray the character's tormented soul beneath the heavy prosthetic makeup, which took 3 hours to apply each day. The Big Man, 1990. Released as Crossing the Line in the U.S., Neeson played a bare-knuckle boxer. He underwent an intense physical training regimen for the part, building a boxer's physique to perform his own fight scenes. Under Suspicion, 1991. A neo-noir thriller where Neeson played a private detective in 1950s, Brighton, England. The role showcased his ability to lead a more traditional, dialogue-heavy mystery. Shining Through, 1992. Playing a high-ranking Nazi officer, Neeson worked again with Michael Douglas, who was a producer on the Deadpool. Husbands and Wives, 1992. In this Woody Allen film, Neeson played a suitor to Mia Farrow's character. His inclusion was a sign of his growing reputation as a serious dramatic actor in American cinemas. Leap of Faith, 1992. Neeson played a small-town sheriff trying to expose Steve Martin's fraudulent faith healer, marking a rare venture into a supporting comedic role. Ethan Frome, 1993. He took on the title role in the screen adaptation of the classic Edith Wharton novel, a somber and tragic part that further demonstrated his dramatic range. Ruby Cairo, 1993. Also known as Deception, Neeson played a doctor aiding a woman, Andie MacDowell, investigating her husband's death. Schindler's List, 1993. This is the role that defined Neeson's early career and cemented his A-list status. Director Steven Spielberg considered Warren Beatty, Kevin Costner, and Mel Gibson, but was convinced Neeson was right for Oscar Schindler after seeing him perform on Broadway in Anna Christie. Neeson put on 20 pounds for the role and studied audio tapes of the CEO of Guinness to capture Schindler's vocal patterns and commanding presence. The performance earned him his only Academy Award nomination for Best Actor to date. Nell, 1994. Neeson starred opposite Jodie Foster and his future wife, Natasha Richardson, whom he met while co-starring in Anna Christie on Broadway. Their on-screen chemistry as a doctor and psychologist studying a wild child mirrored their real-life relationship, which began shortly before filming. Rob Roy, 1995. Playing the titular Scottish folk hero, Neeson performed his own sword-fighting stunts. The climactic duel between him and Tim Roth's character is widely regarded as one of the best sword fights in cinema history, choreographed for realism rather than flashy theatrics. Michael Collins, 1996. A passion project for both Neeson and director Neil Jordan, this role as the iconic Irish revolutionary was one Neeson had pursued for over a decade. He extensively researched Collins, reading numerous biographies and speaking with people who had known him. The film was controversial in the UK but became the highest-grossing film ever in Ireland upon its release, and Neeson won the Best Actor award at the Venice Film Festival. Before and after, 1996, Neeson starred opposite Meryl Streep as parents dealing with the aftermath of their son being accused of murder. Les Miserables, 1998. Neeson took on the iconic literary role of Jean Valjean. He reportedly lost a significant amount of weight to portray Valjean's initial state as a starved parolee. The Haunting, 1999. A rare foray into the horror genre, Neeson played a doctor conducting a study on fear. The film was a box office success but was widely panned by critics. Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, 1999. Neeson played Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, a role that introduced him to a new generation of fans. George Lucas cast him as he considered Neeson a master actor with the presence and gravitas needed for the part. Neeson was unaware of the immense scale of the Star Wars fandom and signed on without hesitation, eager to be part of the sci-fi saga. Gun Shy, 2000. In this black comedy, Neeson played a stressed-out undercover DEA agent, a role that allowed him to explore a more neurotic and comedic character. The Endurance, Shackleton's legendary Antarctic expedition, 2000. While a documentary, Neeson's role as the narrator is included for its significance, lending his authoritative voice to the epic survival story. K-19, The Widowmaker, 2002. Neeson played the second-in-command to Harrison Ford's character on a doomed Soviet nuclear submarine. The production was physically demanding, filmed in cramped, authentic submarine sets. Gangs of New York, 2002. Though his screen time is brief, his role as Priest Vallon is pivotal. Neeson's character sets the entire plot in motion, and he established the Irish accent and demeanor that Leonardo DiCaprio's character would later emulate. Love Actually, 2003. Neeson's role as the grieving widower Daniel provided the film with one of its most emotional storylines. Writer-director Richard Curtis wrote the part specifically for Neeson, aiming to tap into the actor's ability to convey profound sadness and warmth simultaneously. Kinsey, 2004. Neeson received a Golden Globe nomination for his portrayal of controversial sexologist Alfred Kinsey. He prepared meticulously, studying hours of Kinsey's lecture footage to perfect his Midwestern accent and academic mannerisms. The role was a return to the complex biographical characters that defined his early career. Kingdom of Heaven, 2005. In Ridley Scott's Crusade epic, Neeson played Godfrey of Abalin, the father of Orlando Bloom's protagonist. Though his role is limited in the theatrical cut, the director's cut significantly expands his character's presence and impact on the story. Batman Begins, 2005. Neeson played Henri Ducard, who was later revealed to be the main antagonist, Ra's al Ghul. He was cast to provide a strong mentor figure for Bruce Wayne, with his true identity kept a closely guarded secret during production to preserve the third act twist. Breakfast on Pluto, 2005. Reuniting with director Neil Jordan, Neeson played Father Liam, a key figure in the life of Cillian Murphy's transgender protagonist. Seraphim Falls, 2006, a stripped-down western that saw Neeson pitted against Pierce Brosnan. The two Irish actors performed in harsh weather conditions and remote locations in the American Southwest, lending an authentic, gritty feel to the revenge story. Taken, 2008. This film single-handedly redefined Neeson's career. He initially believed it would be a straight-to-video release, but the role of Brian Mills, a retired CIA agent with a very particular set of skills, turned the 55-year-old actor into a global action superstar. He trained in Krav Maga and other martial arts disciplines, performing many of his own stunts and creating the blueprint for the Gary action subgenre that would dominate the next phase of his career. The Other Man, 2008. A romantic thriller where Neeson's character discovers his wife, Laura Linney, has been having an affair. 5 Minutes of Heaven, 2009. In this powerful drama, Neeson portrayed Alistair Little, a former UVF member seeking reconciliation with the brother of the man he killed decades earlier during the Troubles. After Life, 2009. A psychological thriller where Neeson plays an enigmatic mortician who may or may not be able to communicate with the dead. Chloe, 2009. An erotic thriller directed by Adam Egoyan, where Neeson stars alongside Julianne Moore and Amanda Seyfried. Clash of the Titans, 2010. Neeson played Zeus, the king of the gods. He has stated he took the role at the request of his sons, who were fans of Greek mythology. His line, "Release the Kraken," became an instant, widely parodied internet meme. The A-Team, 2010. He took on the role of Hannibal Smith, made famous by George Peppard in the TV series. Neeson, a longtime cigar aficionado, was able to incorporate Hannibal's signature cigar smoking into the character. The Next 3 Days, 2010. Neeson appeared in a memorable cameo as a former prison escapee who gives Russell Crowe's character crucial advice. Unknown, 2011. This was the first of several collaborations with director Jaume Collet-Serra, which capitalized on Neeson's Taken-era action persona. He performed a significant amount of his own stunt driving for the film. The Grey, 2011. Considered by many to be the most artistically successful of his action thriller period, Neeson played an oil worker surviving a plane crash in the Alaskan wilderness. The production was notoriously difficult, with filming taking place in sub-zero temperatures in British Columbia. Neeson and the cast ate real wolf meat to enhance the authenticity of one scene. Battleship, 2012. Neeson played Admiral Shane in this sci-fi action film based on the board game. Wrath of the Titans, 2012. He reprised his role as Zeus, this time with a more substantial and physically demanding part that required action and fight choreography. The Dark Knight Rises, 2012. Neeson made a surprise, uncredited cameo, reprising his role as Ra's al Ghul in a flashback sequence. His involvement was kept secret until the film's premiere. Taken 2, 2012. The sequel proved to be an even bigger box office hit than the original. Filming the climactic scenes in Istanbul's Grand Bazaar was a logistical challenge, requiring coordination with thousands of shop owners. Third Person, 2013. A complex multi-narrative drama from director Paul Haggis. Nonstop, 2014. His second collaboration with Jaume Collet-Serra, this thriller is set almost entirely on a passenger airplane. The set was a meticulously recreated airplane interior, which created a claustrophobic filming environment for the actors. A Million Ways to Die in the West, 2014, Neeson played the villainous gunslinger Clinch Leatherwood in Seth MacFarlane's comedy western. MacFarlane specifically wrote the part for Neeson, wanting to see his intimidating screen persona used for comedic effect. A Walk Among the Tombstones, 2014. Playing ex-cop turned private investigator Matthew Scudder, Neeson brought a darker, more noir-influenced tone to his action hero image. Taken 3, 2014, marketed with the tagline, "It ends here." Neeson's final outing as Brian Mills was the most financially successful of the trilogy. Run All Night, 2015. His third film with Jaume Collet-Serra, this crime thriller paired him with actor Ed Harris for several intense dramatic and action sequences. Ted 2, 2015. He made a memorable cameo as a customer attempting to buy a box of Trix cereal, comically referencing his thriller persona. Silence, 2016. Neeson reunited with director Martin Scorsese for the first time since Gangs of New York. To play a 17th-century Jesuit priest who has renounced his faith, Neeson lost nearly 20 pounds, a significant physical transformation that he found challenging. Operation Chromite, 2016. Neeson portrayed General Douglas MacArthur in this South Korean war film, a rare instance of him playing a major American historical figure. Mark Felt, The Man Who Brought Down the White House, 2017. Neeson took on the title role of Mark Felt, the FBI official who was the deep throat source during the Watergate scandal. The Commuter, 2018, his fourth and final collaboration with director Jaume Collet-Serra. The film's extended, seemingly single-take fight sequences were meticulously choreographed and required intense physical work from Neeson. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, 2018. In the Coen brothers' anthology film, Neeson starred in the bleak segment Meal Ticket, playing a weary impresario of a limbless orator. He has almost no dialogue in the role, conveying his character's exhaustion and cruelty through purely physical performance. Widows, 2018. A small but crucial role as the husband whose death sets the plot of Steve McQueen's heist thriller in motion. Cold Pursuit, 2019. A black comedy action film, a remake of the Norwegian film In Order of Disappearance. Neeson plays a snowplow driver seeking revenge, a role that subverts the typical stoicism of his action characters with moments of dark humor. Men in Black International, 2019. He played High T, the head of the MIB's UK branch. Ordinary Love, 2019. A quiet, intimate drama in which Neeson and Leslie Manville portray a long-married couple dealing with a cancer diagnosis. The role was a significant departure from his action films and was praised by critics as a return to his dramatic roots. Made in Italy, 2020, Neeson starred opposite his real-life son, Mikhail Richardson. The film's plot, about a father and son grieving the loss of their wife, mother, mirrored their own personal family tragedy, making the production a deeply personal and emotional experience for both. Honest Thief, 2020. Playing a bank robber who tries to turn himself in, this film continued his successful run of mid-budget action thrillers. The Marksman, 2021, Neeson plays a former Marine and rancher, protecting a young boy from a drug cartel. For the role, he received training in handling specific long-range rifles. The Ice Road, 2021, filmed in extreme conditions in Manitoba, Canada. Neeson learned to drive a real 18-wheeler truck on a frozen lake, adding a layer of authenticity to his performance as an ice road trucker. Blacklight, 2022, an action thriller where Neeson plays a shadowy government operative. Memory, 2022. Directed by Martin Campbell, Neeson plays an expert assassin with a failing memory, adding a layer of vulnerability and urgency to the typical hitman archetype. Marlowe, 2022. Reuniting with director Neil Jordan, Neeson took on the role of iconic fictional detective Philip Marlowe. At 70, he became the oldest actor to portray the character on screen. Retribution, 2023. A thriller set almost entirely within a car, where Neeson plays a bank executive whose vehicle is rigged with a bomb. The confined space presented unique filming challenges. In the Land of Saints and Sinners, 2023, set in a remote Irish village, this thriller saw Neeson return to his native landscape, playing a newly retired assassin trying to leave his past behind. Wildcat, 2023, a brief appearance as a priest in this biographical drama directed by Ethan Hawke. Absolution, 2024. In this crime drama, Neeson portrayed a gangster seeking redemption with Boston location shooting. The Naked Gun, 2025. In a bold genre swing, Neeson leads as Frank Drebin Jr. in this slapstick reboot. Selected by Seth MacFarlane, the film grossed $96 million against a $42 million budget, showing his comedic range. Ice Road, Vengeance, 2025. Reprising Mike McCann, Neeson returns in a sequel set in the Himalayas, fending off mercenaries while honoring his brother. Liam Neeson's film career reflects a progression from supporting parts in dramas to leading roles in major blockbusters and action franchises. His work has garnered 3 Academy Award nominations and influenced genres from historical epics to modern thrillers. He remains an active figure in cinema, contributing to over 90 feature films.